One thing I know for sure is that Brno is a city that makes the hearts of public transport enthusiasts beat faster. For others, it might start to make you wonder how it became this good. After all, Brno only has around 400,000 inhabitants. So for this video, we will check out Brno's tram system, which locals call Šalina. The early beginnings of the tram system of Brno lead us back to the year 1869, when the city opens its first horse-drawn tram line. The network in the Austro-Hungarian city gradually expanded, but the network closed in 1874 due to unprofitability. A new attempt came in 1876, but trams only operated during the summer, as they were using open cars. Still, the system had a hard time becoming profitable, until 1884 that is. This year marked the introduction of the steam tram, which unlike the horse-drawn tram, did not have profitability issues. The relatively successful operations of the steam tram caused Brno to not introduce electric trams very quickly, but by 1900 the first line opened. But even then, it took a while before the steam trams were completely replaced. The network grew quite a bit, but then World War I arrived. As many men from Brno were taken to the front, women had to keep the tram system running. Trams were used for the transport of wounded people in this war, and an extension to a hospital was built. But operations started to get more irregular, and barely possible as the war went on, as spare parts and the like became less available. After World War I, when Brno found itself in Czechoslovakia, the system was repaired, and subsequently boosted to new highs. In the 1920s, the system grew quickly, and in the 1930s, they spent most of their effort in double-tracking the network. All of this went on until the Second World War. As expected, after World War II, a lot of repair work needed to happen to the system again, but also new sections were introduced. By the 1960s, Brno started building higher speed tram sections to reach the new, more remote parts of the city, or even outside of it, like the line to the town of Modřice. Also, trams made by the famous Czechoslovak manufacturer Tatra came to Brno, with the T2 and later the famous T3 to join the tram fleet. After the fall of communism and the peaceful breakup of Czechoslovakia, there's still action ongoing on the network, with a new route opening to Technologický park in 2008, and most recently, in December of 2022, the new section to Nemocnice Bohunice, as well as a variety of other improvements. So what does the network of today look like? This is the tram network of Brno. It uses a 1435mm standard gauge. The total network is around 72.5 kilometers in length. Trams are powered by 600 volts DC overhead wires, and there are 2 depots on the network. Let's now take a look at the lines. Please keep in mind that there are some current changes because of some reconstruction works, but this is how they are normally operating. We start off with line 1, between Echerova and Rzeczkowice. Line 2 from Stara Osada to Modřice. Line 3, Rakovecká to Stara Osada. Line 4, Náměstí Míru to Babická. Line 5 from Štěfánikova čtvrť to Ústřední Hřbitov. Line 6, Starý Lískovec to Královo Pole nádraží. Line 7, Starý Lískovec to Čertova Rokle. Then line 8 between Nemocnice Bohunice and Líšeň Mívková. Line 8 stands out as it does not have turning loops on the ends. And it also uses this new underground section with this fantastic station. Then we continue with line 9 between Julianov and Čertova Rokle. Line 10 between Komín and Stranska Skala. Line 11 between Mendlovo Náměstí and Čertová Rokle. And finally, line 12 between Technologický park and Komarov. This video about the tram system of Brno is part of an already 29 episode long series of videos of transport systems. I would love to show you many more in the future. Therefore, it would be really helpful if you like my video and subscribe to my channel. Let's now take a look at the fleet. The oldest type in the tram fleet of Brno is the legendary Tatra T3. While there used to be a lot of them in Brno, nowadays they are used more on working days. There are a few iterations and subtypes of these T3s active in Brno, with especially the T3R standing out, due to a different appearance. Besides that, some T3s have been overhauled and became part of the next type, the Vario LFRE. The Vario LFRE has been built on the basis of the existing Tatra T3 by Pragoimex. They are mostly paired up with a longer variant, the Vario LF2RE. This type, also built by Pragoimex, was also reconstruction of existing models. They often use two Tatra T3s for this reconstruction, but also the Tatra K2 could be used for this model. Which brings us to the K2. This two-car model is on the verge of extinction, in a non-reconstructed form that is, with only one of the subtype K2P still in active service, and one of the subtype K2R-RT stored. This subtype acted as a bar for many years, but the pandemic seems to have ended this. Of the K2, also another modernized version was created. This is the K3R-N, a 3-car unidirectional tram. Another type of Tatra active in Brno is the T6A5. They operate in pairs. Many of the T6A5s in Brno had a former life in Prague. Prague withdrew them from their fleet for regular operations during 2019 and 2020. And the last type of Tatra in Brno is the KT8D5. These 3-car bidirectional trams are used on line 8, as it does not have turning loops, but also on lines where the loop is not accessible due to construction works, which is the case on line 4. There are two subtypes of the KT8D5s in Brno, the KT8D5N and the KT8D5R.N2. Moving on to another manufacturer, we get to the other famous Czech tram producer, Škoda. The Škoda 3T is the oldest type. They are 3-car unidirectional units and are often seen on less busy lines. A few years later, Škoda built 5-car unidirectional trams of the type 13T for Brno. They are very similar to the 14Ts in Prague, with the exception of the front doors, which lead to the passenger compartment rather than the driver's cabin. And currently, delivery is still occurring for the next two types. The first of these types is the EVO2, built by Pragoimex. These are 2-car unidirectional trams, of which the last 3 of the 32 tram order will be delivered within this year. And the last type to join the tram fleet of Brno is the Škoda 45T, part of the 4-City Smart platform of Škoda. The 45Ts are 3-car bidirectional trams, and you can find them mostly on line 8. Currently there are 5 trams of this type active. The contract initially had 35 trams on option, of which 15 have since become firm orders. They will be delivered by the end of 2025. Recently, the City Council also gave the green light to order the remaining 20 trams on option. Once these trams are delivered, this will result in phasing out of the KT8D5s. So, how many people are using the trams in Brno? In 2022, around 174.5 million passengers were transported by tram in Brno, which is an impressive amount for a city of this size. But 2022 was still a year where the last effects of the pandemic still played a role, and the new section of Line 8 was only open for 1 month. So I expect the figures for 2023 will be much higher. For comparison, the last normal year, 2019, saw 195.2 million passengers. So then, what are the plans for the future? It is not as much really. I already discussed the further delivery of 35 additional Škoda 45Ts. There are a few likely extensions, such as an extension of the current Line 1 to the west, making it reach the Kameji district. Also, Brno will get a new main station. but this new main station will be built in a different location than the current one. As the current main station is a massive transfer hub for the trams, this likely means that a shift will occur in the network, with a likely shake-up of the lines too. So, that's it for the tram system of Brno. Click here for my video about the tram system in Prague. As always, thank you very much for watching.